Good evening and hello world. I'm Maya Sundermeyer and I would like to welcome you to the latest episode of my blog series. So far, I have been able to share my own experiences with you guys on what it's like to live on the autism spectrum. A second thing that I do is I like to give tips and advice to those of you who are on the autism spectrum or have Asperger's syndrome. A third thing that I do is I also like to give my 2 cents on what's going on with autism in the media. And a fourth thing that I do is I cover topics that I'm passionate about that have absolutely nothing to do with autism whatsoever. And before I begin, I would like to mention that I am currently trying to cross-promote other YouTube channels that are autism related, and they also might be great resources for you. Like, some of them might be educational talks. Others might be, just so that you can relate to other people who are like yourself or relate to other parents. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you parents out there, and I'm first going to give you guys some advice. And the first one is, yes, I am really sorry that you are being stuck in special education and you are going to IEP meetings for your child, and you're sitting there and listening to all of these negative underestimations about them that are probably not even true, and all of these overgeneralizations from someone that looks at your child through a telescope but doesn't really look at the situations going on around that telescope. And that often seems to happen. And you also seem to have problems with doctors that they often misdiagnose your child, and because they have a high reputation, it's their way over your way, and that little piece of paper can blackball all kinds of opportunities for your child. So keep that in mind. And I also wanted to talk to you guys about something else, because being that I am, and I've been in special education before, and I've dealt with individuals like these doctors that thought I was something else and I really was not, and they just overgeneralized with me. What I'm going to do is talk about what it's like to see it, it's hard to see other people get things that you really want thanks to all of these little blackballing and all of these little generalizations. And what I'm going to do is I want you guys to put yourselves into the shoes of your children now. And this doesn't just have to be for anyone with autism. It can be someone with Down syndrome or cerebral palsy or whatever. So imagine you have grown up and you have a diagnosis of some form of a disability. You are constantly being told that the older you get, the more help you would need. And you are constantly having talks with your parents about moving into a possible group home after listening to all of these people, all these experts that say, well, she needs this help, she might want to look at the group home scenario, and she might need to look at the guardianship. You are also being told that you might want to look at an option of getting on Social Security. And meanwhile, you have siblings that are a few years younger than you, and they are in the process of getting ready to go to college, and they might be valedictorians or graduating with honors, and they have been allowed to take certain classes that you could not take because your teachers constantly harped at you about how hard those courses were. And they constantly kept telling your parents that, well, her IQ is lower, so she'll never do it, or his IQ is lower, so he'll never do it. And you have social workers, and you are constantly noticing that they are able to get their driver's license, and meanwhile, you've been waiting and waiting for them to say yes, for your own parents to say yes. And you go up to them and ask, well, could I try to drive too? And rather than giving you a direct answer, you get little hints like, yeah, well, you have to pay attention when you drive on the road. And, they don't really tell you that they're concerned that driving can be very dangerous. Instead, they give you the hint by letting you know that their grandparents are going to give your sister or brother the car. And you stand back and you're just kind of meant to stand in the shadows and watch in the sidelines while other people in your life are able to get things that you are not. They get careers. They go to college. They graduate from that college. They get masters. They get married. And you, in the meantime, are constantly being told that, well, you can't. You are not allowed to learn any independent living skills because your parents are scared that you're going to burn yourself. You are not allowed to learn to mow the lawn because they're afraid you might break the thing. So I want you guys to really think about what it would be like, because I know that some of you have told your kids they're having pity parties when they're frustrated. But you need to understand that they want the American dream just as much as you do. And you need to understand that disability rights are civil rights according to the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA. They have a right to go to work. They have a right to advocate for themselves. I mean, and nowadays they have cars that are modified that might not be so bad for them. And they have public transportation. But again, I want you guys to really understand what it's like to see other people get things that they want. And, you need to be a bit more sensitive and understanding, and possibly maybe you ought to rethink about teaching them those independent living skills. So, anyway, I'm out of time for tonight. If you have any questions or comments, please be sure to post below, and do not be afraid to share this video with anybody in the parent connections and anywhere in Georgia with families. And also be sure to share this with your special education teachers and possibly with your mentors. So until next time, I'm Maya and I'm signing off.